Ladies and gentlemen, you're very welcome to the State of Uganda and Africa eCommerce. And I'm going to invite one of you individually to introduce yourselves in just 30 seconds, to begin with Timothy right here.
Thank you. Good morning to you all. My name is Timothy and I'm representing Jumia. It's been quite a very essential period for us, very crazy. But we are very happy to discuss our challenges and the opportunities that we've faced during the previous period. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mehdi, please.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mehdi Matovu. I'm the CEO of Lusuku. Lusuku is a garden online. So meaning anything that you grow in the garden can get you money in your pocket. So we're trying to develop an ecosystem where this entire process is somehow sustained and it's adding value to anyone and everyone that contributes to it.
All right, we cross to Damali.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Damali Ssali and I am a trade development expert interested in e-commerce and anything to do with trade. Thank you.
Nicholas, please.
Morning. My name is Nicholas Kamanzi and I'm the head of payments at Boda. We are a ride-hailing company and recently we deliver essentials. That is maybe food, your shopping and pharmaceutical products.
Yes, very well. As e-commerce players, how is the e-commerce business like? Where are the opportunities? We take it from you, Nicholas.
I mean, I think for us going into the lockdown, of course, like we had COVID and then we had to go into a lockdown. We were primarily doing like moving people from point A to point B. And when, of course, the president advised that we cannot move people, so we had to pivot our business very, very quickly to see like who has been affected by the lockdown, and that was like the restaurants, the small businesses, and so we pivoted our business to deliver essential products. And currently we have about 700 businesses. That's both restaurants and small shops. We also launched an initiative with UNCDF where we are trying to digitize the local markets. And I think like, of course, the space is like very big, and we are very new to the e-commerce space. Of course, like players like Jumia and like other e-commerce platforms have been in the space for a while. But our thesis was like, how do we use our border drivers who are affected? How do we try to create more business for them? And of course, like we extending like 18,000 delivery men who are now don't have a job, and we are connecting that to the millions of people in Kampala who now don't have access to their shops and all these businesses. So I would say like for us we were trying to evolve the business and we were trying to react to the changes. So far we've seen like a lot of very good positive feedback, and I think like every e-commerce player has been on the forefront and they've seen a lot of growth. And of course there's been a lot of challenges. We had like at a point where we would only deliver up to 2 p.m. And there was a point where we would deliver, okay, that was extended. And of course there's curfew issues, but generally like we've seen like a very good uptake of e-commerce. And I think, of course, we've seen like a downtime for the other side of the business, but e-commerce has been like very, very important for us. Yeah.
All right, please. Mehdi, please share with us how the business is like and the opportunities where there is.
Okay, so the previous 3 months showed us something that is very, very valuable to our communities. It actually had a term for it. They were called the essential services. So these are sectors that have been ignored for the longest time, and the average person is interacting with such services. So we need to find a way of organizing these people, add value to their input entirely. And then, of course, the opportunity lies in how you change the attitude, how you address the mentality about the entire sector. A case in point would be how are you going to convince someone that getting a kilogram of onions is better than Ndewe, or you know the local term, how they are used to tally them? So adding that value to the entire chain and the entire transaction is where the real opportunity would lie, and any e-commerce platform should focus on that. Because eventually, if we ignore these things, they are coming to us and reminding us, like, you need this, you need that. So we need to find a way of looking at them as tools that are addressing the problems in our society, not just an e-commerce platform that is fancy and the images are looking fine, but for instance, you can look at it in a way of traffic. You noticed what happened during the lockdown. You get someone to take care of your errands, you know, and you focus on the things that matter most.
All right.
So as someone who's interacting with the system, the attitude has to change, and you look at it as something that is going to contribute to your well-being.
All right.
That's
please.
a real opportunity now.
Okay, it's a great opportunity, very transforming millions of people actually in Uganda. Let us take it from you, Timothy. How is the e-commerce business like?
There have been quite a number of opportunities that have arisen out of this. I think the challenges have been well documented by the panelists here. We needed to act fast on two fronts. One, to maintain the convenience of customers, and two, to ensure that the safety measures were adopted. So the first one was changing mindset of our delivery providers, our vendors, partners, to ensure that we mitigated and were facing the challenge head on. The health comes first, right? So we came up with contactless delivery, where we start to give a couple of codes to the e-commerce customers, and then for food, we promoted more of online payments, which is also something that has been, I think, the biggest opportunity throughout this. So we've seen a big uptake of online payments compared to cash on delivery. And we needed to ensure that all services, that every person, every customer had access to all the services they do on a daily basis, and at the same time, the vendors were supported. So we went out to help most of the vendors secure permits to move around in town, which strengthened our relationships with them. But most importantly, we were also getting to share with them on the challenges that they were facing, and the opportunities that came up would be the segments that they were not providing. Case in point, for restaurants, providing cheaper meals, providing packaged meal for people at home, but also that the scope and the area of delivery needed to change. And we also did a lot of warehousing for the fast-moving consumer goods. We noticed that even when the shops were closed, people still needed to buy electronics. If you had never bought a TV and you're now most of your time is watching TV, you had to buy a big one. You had to buy better appliances at home. So we needed to ensure that the economy kept moving amidst all the challenges, and the opportunities that came up there were people who were able to stock and were from products away from home, and we saw a big number of people who were trading from their homes.
All right, please. At least I got to test one of your services about the delivery. And this one is straight to Damali. Do you think e-commerce entities are getting it right in terms of customer satisfaction?
Taking it from a trade perspective, I would say that there is still a lot to be done. Take, for example, in 2018, the Bank of Uganda issued a paper which said that informal cross-border trade was valued, for Uganda, was valued at 2.8 trillion Uganda shillings. I would like to see the players in e-commerce, the Jumias, the Safe Bodas, the Lusuku here, be able to leverage their platforms to catalyze such trade. That amount is a huge amount, 2.8 trillion Uganda shillings, and yet we do not have any e-commerce platform player targeting them. And it's not necessarily a charitable event. I mean, they will be making money off each transaction, but they're not targeting those people. And for me, personally, I would be very interested to see that the 70% of the women who are involved in informal cross-border trade and who currently face the challenge of physical and sexual harassment as they go about their trade, if they're able to use an e-commerce platform and remove themselves from that from the need to be physically involved. It will help them a lot so that they can actually trade. But for the e-commerce players, it's not necessarily a charitable thing. This is 2.8 trillion Uganda shillings worth of an informal economy. So they'll be making a lot of money out of it. I don't know how much they make out of the current Kampala type economy that they are working on, but I would urge them to look at these informal cross-border trade numbers and really focus on that. And maybe the other point I would like to make is that in Uganda, internet penetration is only at 37%, which is very low compared to, say, Kenya, which has internet penetration which is around 80%. And there is a direct correlation between internet penetration and the ability of an economy to benefit or realize the benefits out of e-commerce. So as long as our rates are still that low as an economy, it will be difficult for all Ugandans to benefit out of an e-commerce economy. So we need to work on that. But conversely, also, the e-commerce players can innovate products that target players who don't have access to online. Look at the mobile money revolution. It targeted everyone. It developed a product that someone with a smartphone or someone with a capability can still use to do mobile money. So the e-commerce players who are currently here, they need to innovate for our context. For Uganda, for example, people are not online. People are using capability. Our informal economy is huge. It should not be ignored. A lot of women are involved in it. They must be selling agricultural produce and locally manufactured goods. How do you target that? How do you ensure that your e-commerce platform is actually inclusive? It should not only look at the Kampala people who can afford internet, who can download your app. It should include everyone.
Okay.
Thank you.
I really agree. It goes back to knowing your customer, like my colleague said earlier in the previous panel. And now we go to Nicholas to share with us how does the level 1 principle of the same-day settlement set a better e-commerce breeding environment?
Yeah, I mean, so to answer this question, I would like to give an example. So we launched the local markets again in the same process, and of course we were going at it from before, when we had like safe orders, we were paying them like every 7 days. So if you collect any e-payments like from mobile money, we are doing it in 7 days. And then we kind of shortened that time period to paying them every other day, so 24 hours we pay you out. Now when we went into e-commerce and we go to the local market, we actually discovered that these guys use the money and then they have to go in the evening or like very early in the morning and restock. And so if you're not paying them like immediately or like every 4 hours, they are not going to adopt your product. And so again, going back to customer satisfaction, the vendor is not going to be satisfied and it's going to be like, I don't like e-commerce because you're paying me after 24 hours, yet I need to restock my my products. And so what we've discovered, and we had to be very flexible and say, okay, so for local markets, we are going to pay them more frequently, even when we know that maybe MTN or Airtel is paying us every 2 days. We are going to make sure like, there's enough money to pay the local markets almost immediately. And that improved the experience and improved the uptake, and a lot more people are willing to adopt the service because they know they are going to be paid every 4 hours. Instead of like them waiting for the money. And so like that's like a level 1 principle that is Mojaloop of course like pushes a lot, like how close to like someone liquidating their cash are you. So if that experience is not immediate, like these guys are running a business. They're not, it's not just e-commerce. They have people who walk to the market. If e-commerce is giving them a lot of sales and they're not liquidating that money, they are going to shy away from the product. And so if you're not very flexible, they are not going to adopt your product, however much you're giving them a lot of sales. So I think like that flexibility has to be there. And how do you then like have that experience scale across like all the value chain that you have? And then we're going to see like a lot of customer satisfaction for that specific vendor. They're going to talk to other vendors about the experience. Other vendors are going to want to adopt. And so it makes the job of scaling e-commerce easier.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's go to Damali. In 2 minutes, share with us your take on the level 1 principle of the same-day settlement.
International best practice indicates or dictates that ideally a good e-commerce environment should be able to settle the debts or the liability of the person at the end of the transaction in that same day. Take, for example, if right now I order from Jumia 1 kilogram of tomatoes from Kalere, a woman at Kalere, and my tomatoes get delivered in 1 hour. So the same day settlement dictates that that woman should receive her money before the end of the day. The reason for that is that, one, she's the most vulnerable in this entire value chain. I've paid Jumia, I've got the tomatoes, I've paid through, say, MTN mobile money. Of the 4 people involved in this value chain, she's the least able to afford a loss of income, even for 1 day. I can afford it, Jumia can certainly afford it, MTN can afford it. And in a way, if she doesn't receive her money today, we are really exploiting her for no good reason. It also means that she can't sell her tomatoes to someone who walks in. It also means that she doesn't have income to restock immediately, and she may not actually have enough income to feed her kids today, because maybe that profit is what she was going to use to feed her kids. So the same day, same settle dictates that the people who are most vulnerable at the end of these value chains should not be exploited by the big players in say, an e-commerce transaction. And I'm not on the other end. I'm not in e-commerce, so I don't know what our e-commerce players are doing. I'm glad that Nicholas has just said that they're actually settling same day. It will be interesting to hear from the other gentlemen on this panel on if they're indeed settling these things on the same day.
Very well. Just like you said, you want to hear from the gentleman. We have got Mehdi next to you. Share with us in just 1 minute.
All right. So same-day settlement in our space is mandatory because the people we're dealing with, their customer base is really small. So you can't hold on to their money for any reason or whatsoever. You have to settle immediately so that they can be able to carry on the next transaction the following day.
All right. Timothy, what do you think?
I agree with everyone. We do instant settlement for the market, and we've had to come up with different partnerships to be able to accommodate this due to the fact that the basket sizes also vary, the different players will have different requirements. But with instant settlement, it means that we have selected a couple of people in the market who we call market agents. The market agents will be equipped with some float or some money, and they'll actually be the ones to handle and make the cash payments directly to enable the vendors to continuously get to trade. Because we've seen that, of course, e-commerce will be exposing them to more to more customers, and also their transactions on a daily basis will increase significantly.
All right. And the next one will go to you, Timothy. Do you mind, pulling it down? Because we have the social distancing, actually. What is your take? Now we have got advents of Facebook Pay, shops, Facebook Pay bills. What impact do you think they have on e-commerce?
I think it's
in Africa.
It's all dependent on one factor, and that is the internet penetration, as Damali talked about. All these payment platforms will be easy for a customer to pay, and we have to look at the penetration, to the charges that are got into it. If it is more data, someone will always prefer cash, and so it's one of the things that we have continuously fight. How do we lower the cost of internet? How do we remove OTT? Because it is a genuine barrier. The fact that Facebook payments have come, WhatsApp payments have come, shows that the potential of the financial space in terms of accessing finances from your wallet to make a payment of a service that you are consuming from a panel, from any channel, means that we need to address these as proper business channels. People are actually making money off this, and we are able to pay their taxes. So we should remove the barriers to enable open trade from them.
All right. Let's cross to you, Mehdi, to share with us what impact you think Facebook shops and Facebook Pay will have got on the e-commerce platform in Africa.
All right. So Facebook offers a huge opportunity to small companies, and this kind of gets rid of the bottlenecks that have been prevailing in the market for so long. But I would want to look at it in two ways. One is the fact that you have so many players on the platform creates that healthy competition. That means it offers transparency ranging from prices, competitive prices, a variety of products which you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. Then on the other end, as big players, they tend to know where their core competencies should be. So in this regard, if someone is offering better pricing and someone is promising free delivery, I think there comes a time where you need to shift from competing for that small thing of free delivery, like the only value addition that you're offering to customers, to things like moving to maybe better packaging, maybe offering, for instance, Lusuku. I'll use Lusuku as an example. We intend in 4 years' time to have a data center where anyone who has some sort of capital can look at our analytics and look at our data and know what kind of products they should invest in. So precisely all I'm saying here is with the advent of Facebook Pay, encouraging all these small players to sell onto the platform and showcase their products, gives an opportunity to the big players to focus on the things that really matter and things that should add value to the community and the entire ecosystem, for instance, in agriculture.
All right, please. We're soon wrapping this up. We have got a question from the audience and Emily's over there walking up to take it and share with us what she has to share.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nakabuye Emily Sonia, and I'm an intern working with HiPipo. So my question is for Nicholas Kamanzi. As Safe Boda, how are you ensuring that your 20,000 users of Safe Boda are coding during this COVID-19 times? How do you know? Because as we all know, the borders these days don't carry people. So how are you ensuring that the people who are working with Safe Boda, the border guys, your border guys, are coping with this COVID-19?
Yeah, I mean, so there is, first, we strongly believe there's SOPs that can be put in place to allow borders to take people. But, so some of the things that we've done on the financial side, so we had Safe Borders who had loans, either you have a bike, because we're giving two types of loans, cash loans and bike loans. And so if you had a loan, we paused any repayment for 3 months, and we are thinking about extending those covers as well. But then the other one is how do we get them to be more productive? Because if our industries and our markets are not productive, we are not going to see any form of recovery. So that's why we started doing essential deliveries to try and get them to at least earn something. And of course, we are thinking around what other things can we be doing to increase their output at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, they have families that depend on them. And if they cannot earn any money, I mean, we've seen most of them have gone back to the village. And of course, productivity has to happen as we all recover from COVID-19. And deliveries and some exemptions from loans that they had, which is a financial burden. Some of the things that we have done and continuing to do.
All right, thank you so much. I hope Emily's question has been answered. And now we're soon wrapping it up with you, Damali, to share with us what must e-commerce businesses improve on as you wrap it up.
I think for me personally, I was once on a road trip and I went through Konakamdini and I bought honey at Konakamdin. It's the best honey I've ever had. And I would like to be able to get that honey anytime I want to. So I'd like the e-commerce players to develop platforms in which I, Damali, with a smartphone can order for honey from a woman at Konakamdin who has a kabiriti, and that honey gets delivered to me, and I'm ready to pay a premium so the platform players get their money, but the woman also gets her sell. But I think 40 Days FinTech has been talking about interoperability of systems. Can the e-commerce players and the telecom players also have an interoperability of logistics infrastructure. There is a mobile money agent in every town. At Kona Kamdin, there are several of them. So why can't the e-commerce players work with the mobile money players as well, so that they can leverage on that infrastructure? My honey could be delivered to the mobile money agent in Kona Kamdin, and somehow it gets delivered to me. That way we will be developing platforms that are inclusive of every person in the sector of the economy, the guys at the top of the pyramid and the people at the bottom of the pyramid, and everyone would be happy. The e-commerce players would have more transactions, so they make more money. The lady at Kona Kamdin will have a new customer who normally wouldn't be there because I would not be traveling there every day. And also, she gets an income. Everyone is involved. Our e-commerce economy has to be inclusive. For it to benefit everyone, it has to really be inclusive. And that's not a charitable thing to do, actually. It is a profitable thing to do. The mobile revolution has shown us that if you develop a system or a solution that includes everyone from the top of the pyramid to the bottom of the pyramid, one, you laugh all the way to the bank, but two, everyone benefits in that economy. Thank you.
Very well. Thank you. You're talking about eComDin. I'm talking about my deep down village, Nyamango. Well, Mehdi, let's wind up with your commitment to your customers, and in 30 seconds, please.
So our commitment would be one that guarantees consistency. The value you get from shopping on Lusuku for the first time should be the same value you would get 2 years from now. Mm-hmm. And it should only get better, but nothing less.
All right. Thank you so much. Timothy, wrap it up in 30 seconds.
I think we still need to know that Damali makes quite amazing points. We are not reaching as many people as we should, and we should get to innovate for our country, get to innovate for our services that are going across the divide, and try to look at the markets and the segment of people that we are not reaching currently. For those that we reach currently, it is very, very important that we continue to give them the proper value for money through assortment, through signing on more vendors, making it easy for them to manage their virtual shops, and also get to train as many partners as possible to come on board and get to support this. Because I believe with proper partnerships, it makes it more profitable for us to continue working for everyone in e-commerce.
All right, thank you so much. And lastly, Nicholas, share with us your commitment to your customers in 30 seconds.
No, I think for us, we are going to try and innovate and extend our business to allow the people in that ecosystem, so Boda drivers, our customers, now merchants, be able to deliver a good experience. So that's kind of like what we're focusing on, and we are taking it a day at a time. So yeah.
Thank you so much, and thank you everyone for joining us on this morning's panel, and also now welcoming Wesley, who is the host, to take us through the rest of the program. But please, you can follow me up down for photography.